Hello everyone, it's Alex. I am doing video one of a few for your midterm reviews. So we're going to start with chapter one. I hope you watched the introduction instruction video. Otherwise you might be confused with some things I say. So like I said, we're going to be starting with chapter one, and the portion of chapter one we're going to start with is the speech communication model. I will be walking you through it, so if you want to take notes or if you want to add to your notes, it would be a good idea. There is more in-depth reading in pages 17 to 21 of chapter 1 in your textbook. There is also a prettier picture in your textbook, but this isn't your textbook. This is me, and I draw cartoons, and not great ones. I'm a music major, not an art major. So, without further ado, the speech communication model. The password for this video is Sherbert Lemon. So, the first blank of the speech communication model is the speaker. It's this stick figure over here with a big mouth. They speak. You open your mouth to speak. Speaker. The speaker is giving a message. So blank 2 is message. This is anything that the speaker wants the listener to hear. The third blank refers to this double-sided arrow over here. The double-sided arrow refers to the channel. So the channel is how the communication is happening. Is the communication happening in person? Is the communication happening through a pre-recorded video, such as this one? Is the communication happening through Zoom, through a commercial, through a billboard, through a newspaper ad, through an ad, a video ad, through the radio? Those are all types of channels. The fourth blank is this stick figure on this side with the big ears. So if the big mouth is the speaker, the big ears is the listener. Original, I know. So the listener takes in the message that the speaker is giving. The fifth blank is these boxes in each of the stick figures' heads. Those boxes in the fifth blank refers to a frame of reference. So every human being has a different frame of reference. For instance, my frame of reference, I am currently 23. I am a Puerto Rican woman. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm a musician. I don't live with my parents anymore, for better or for worse. I have my own car, again, for better or for worse. I have animals, lots of them, and I grew up between the Midwest here and Puerto Rico. I went to school in a mostly Caucasian school, where I was an extreme minority, actually down the street. So that's how I see the world. You see the world very differently than I do, because we've all had different experiences. So that's what frame of reference is. The sixth blank is referring to this U-shaped solid black line, and that is the feedback. So when the listener is listening, as they should be, there is feedback to be given. So whether this be verbal or nonverbal, it tells the speaker that they're being heard. So verbal feedback are things like, yeah, I get it, I don't get it, etc. Nonverbal feedback are things like head nods or shakes or confused faces. So that's all feedback given by the listener to the speaker. So the listener is still communicating back to the speaker. The seventh blank is referring to my little storm cloud with the lightning bolt through it. The second password for this video is Percy Jackson, ironically. So This is interference. Interference is anything that stops the message from being given by the speaker or taken in by the listener. The interference can be internal or external. So an internal example is, suddenly you remember you left the stove on, and you're distracted by the thought of your stove is on. External distractions or interferences are things such as thunderstorms, train horns, cell phones going off, either your own or someone else's, screaming babies, screaming people, running people, etc. Anything that distracts from the communication happening, whether I'm distracted as the speaker or you're distracted as the listener, it's considered an interference. The last and final blank is this big box all the way around here, and this crudely drawn house and clock, analog, and it refers to the situation. The situation is the when and the where the communication is happening. Not to be confused with the channel, which is blank 3. The channel is the how the communication is happening. The situation is the when and the where the situation is happening. Again, to recap, we have our speaker giving a message through a channel to the listener, who has a frame of reference different to your own, who gives the listener then gives feedback to the speaker. There can be an interference, and this all happens within a situation. If you have any questions, please email me or read through pages 17 and 21, 17 through 21 in your textbook, and it will go over more in depth of the communication process. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Bye.